Hello everyone, and welcome to another edition of Up Close with yours truly, Colin Thompson. Well, I don't know about you all, but I'm extremely excited today because today we're going to be profiling two of our greatest athletes out there doing big things for Bermuda on the international stage, siblings Emma and Jack Harvey.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Now, you all been extremely busy here lately, fresh off of competing for Bermuda down in El Salvador at the CAC Games, Central American and Caribbean Games, and Emma came back. I think you had some extra luggage to declare through customs. Is that correct?
Yes. I was very happy to come back to Bermuda with 2 medals. So yeah, it was a great competition, and yeah, really excited to represent Bermuda again on the international stage.
All right, we're going to get to that in just a quick moment, but you just go over to brother Jack.
Yeah.
You know, exciting time for you as well.
Yeah, it was a great meet. It was a great, the games were amazing. El Salvador was a great host, and I had a lot of fun with my teammates as well as my sister. So it was fun. It was great.
Is it cool competing at these meets, together?
Yeah,
brother and sister.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we get to travel to a lot of different countries, a lot of different places together, so that's obviously really fun. We get to see each other succeed, and that's really cool as well.
Yeah.
Well, and speaking of succeeding, your sister, you must be extremely proud of.
Oh yeah, of course, extremely proud.
Achieved.
Got to watch all her swims down in El Salvador, so that was awesome. Got to see both her medals down on the podium, so that was really cool.
All right, so Emma, tell us all about it. A silver and a bronze.
Yeah.
So which disciplines did you win each?
So the first night was the 50 back, which was the silver medal, and then the last night was the 50 fly, which was the bronze medal. But yeah, overall it was a really exciting games. As Jack said, it was just such a cool opportunity, as always, to represent Bermuda. But we had so much fun hanging out with the rest of the team, and the CAC is such a cool meet because you see people from the Caribbean that you've been racing against at Carifta since you were 11 years old. So it was really cool to be able to reconnect with those people and cheer them on, and there's a real sense of connection amongst other Caribbean countries. So even if someone from Bermuda wasn't in it, the final or the race, we'd still have someone to cheer for because there was bound to be someone else from the Caribbean. It was really cool to see all those islands kind of come together and support each other, which was really awesome. But yeah, really happy with my performances. Missed out on a couple medals with some 4th places, but overall to come back with a silver and a bronze, I'm really happy.
So what were your expectations going in?
I think going into it, my kind of goal, I guess you could say, was definitely to win a medal. On that first morning, I was the top seed coming out of prelims, which is super exciting, and I definitely wasn't expecting that. And I think kind of from that moment on, I was like, my aspirations from winning a medal kind of turned more into reality, and I was, that became like a really focal point for the rest of the meet for me. But yeah, I definitely, wasn't expecting to do as well as I did across all the different events. Sometimes you go to these meets and you're lucky if you have like 1 or 2 really good swims. So to come to the meet and do 5 out of 6 personal best times or lifetime bests was really excited for me. And yeah, I'm just, as I mentioned earlier, really excited to see where this continues, and really excited to head to Japan in a couple weeks.
And now for added measure, you also broke some national records?
Yes. I think both of us. You broke in the 100 back as well?
Yeah, 100 back in the relay.
Yeah, 100 back in the relay.
So tell us about that.
Yeah, I got 1 national record in the 100 back. It was on the first night in the mixed medley relay. The mixed medley relay is always a fun one. We always get to come together, all of our team, and kind of just race all the other countries. So that was a lot of fun, and to walk away with a national record as well. That was great.
Yeah.
So in the mixed medley relay, everyone does what's that sort of format? Just to break it down a bit.
So it's every stroke. So you do backstroke first, then breaststroke, then butterfly, then freestyle. So our order was I led off the relay doing backstroke, then we had Benedict doing breaststroke, then Emma did fly, and then Maddie Moore closed us out doing freestyle. So again, it was a really fun race.
Yeah.
It was a good way to start off the meet, I think.
Mixed relays are a lot of fun because you don't always compete. It's the only event that men and women compete together, so it's really fun, and it's a great opportunity for Bermuda because, we don't have, we're an island of 6,000 people, so we don't have a ton of swimmers normally going to these meets. But the mixed relay allows us to, even if we have 4 swimmers, 2 male, 2 female, we can still compete in the relays, which is really exciting. And it's a pretty recent addition to the Olympics, and after it was introduced to Olympics, most other meets, big like international competitions also adopted it, which is really cool. But yeah, we were able to compete at these games, and it will be on the cards at World Championships as well, which is really exciting.
And to top it all off, in that particular event, brother and sister get to compete together.
I know, it's great. I think, was that the first time we've ever actually done a race together?
I don't think we've been on a relay before together.
No,
so
yeah, which is funny because we're also obviously we've been competing for Bermuda for a while for both of us, be on some national teams and stuff together, but we're also at Penn State together, which is really cool to be able to train and compete together there. But even at Penn State, I mean, there's no mixed relays in the NCAA. So yeah, this was our first one, which was kind of fun. I never thought about that before, actually.
So national records, 2 medals in the family.
Yes.
And also you hit some qualifying time for Pan Am Games.
Yes.
Yeah.
Was
it 4? As many as 4?
Yeah. So
wow.
I think so. Yeah, the 100 fly, 100 back, 50 free and 100 free, so far. And so unfortunately the 50s of stroke, which is the 50 fly and 50 back, aren't in Pan Am Games. That's the Olympic format. It stays to the Olympic format. But yeah, super excited to race those at Pan Am's as well.
That's interesting. Yeah. That's interesting. Why? Is there any particular reason why?
I think the argument is that, I believe, I'm not an expert in this, but I think the argument is something along the lines of that swimming has already a lot of medals up for offer and they don't want to give more medal opportunities for swimming, basically, I think is the kind of gist of it. But they're looking at including them. There's always been talks about including it in future Olympics, but World Championships, Commonwealth Games, every single other major meet has them. It's just the Olympics which still haven't added them in yet. But hopefully in the next 10 years or next 8 years, they'll be looking to add those in, which would be really great.
Interesting. And Jack, overall, you all were part of a team. There were more members on the team. Overall, how would you sum it up? The team's performance down in El Salvador.
I think we all did really well. I know we both walked away with PBs. I know Benedict got a PB. Did Maddie? Yeah,
Maddie, I don't think PB'd, but was very close in a couple of events, and obviously she walked away with a medal too, so I know she was super happy with her performance. Yeah. She's been super consistent for the last couple of years, so I think she's kind of like right on that cusp of hitting very consistently like her lifetime best pretty much the exact same time. So that's really positive signs for her that hopefully there's a big drop coming in the future.
Yeah, and I just want to send a special shout out, congratulations to Maddie Moore, on her success done at the Central American and Caribbean Games as well. And of course she was here with us not too long ago. So we're happy to see her as also, reaping the fruits, of her labor, reaping the rewards, the benefits of all that hard work you all put in. Speaking of which, what do you attribute to this wonderful performance? I'm sure there's some hard work in yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I think, swimming's a really grueling sport in the sense that, you can work for however many years and you might only see a 1/100th of a second improvement or even go backwards, which definitely happened to me for a few years. So I think, the biggest thing is just patience. Something my coach always said to me, especially when I was struggling, was, you're one big swim away from like this huge, from this like big turnaround. And I remember when that kind of swim happened for me about a year and a half ago, it was like ever since then, it's just, I kind of found my confidence again. And, it's one of the hardest things in swimming is that when you lose your confidence, you kind of are behind the blocks, you don't have those positive thoughts and you don't really believe in yourself, or at least for me that was my experience. So then to kind of win your confidence back again, it's sort of just you get behind the blocks and instead of being nervous and kind of afraid, it's this feeling of excitement and it's just like this pure adrenaline rush. And I think kind of just finding that love for racing again is kind of what's helped me succeed. Because to be completely honest, my kind of training hasn't really changed that much in the last 2 years, other than focusing more on weightlifting and my nutrition and those types of things. I think it's most of this kind of progression it can be attributed to just newfound confidence, really.
I was actually going to go there, and I was going to throw it over to Jack. To get yourself in optimum shape, what does it take? And sister, Emma just touched a lot on that, nutrition and exercise and, all sorts of other, key elements into your training regimen. What is it? Without revealing all your secrets.
No.
We don't want to do that.
I mean, there's no doubt that it's a really tough sport. I mean, you got to be training, you got to be putting the work in almost every day. swimming twice, up to 4 hours a day, weightlifting, like Emma said, getting your nutrition right, making sure you're sleeping, doing the little things right. And I think that like those little things kind of add up together and kind of make you as a swimmer and as an athlete. I think, people who really want to be good have to do those things right. So just making sure that you're staying consistent with like the little things, I guess, is going to make big differences. And I feel like for me, that's what's made the biggest difference for me.
Yeah, I will say Jack also grinds in the pool, where he likes to do more of the distance training. I'm definitely more in the sprint end of things, so he likes to make fun of me sometimes, because I'll get out of the pool a little bit before him, and he's still grinding up and down.
I'll say I work harder than her, but
that's not true. We work hard in different things. If we go to the weight room, then maybe you'd start to see some discrepancies there as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
No sibling rivalry there.
Yeah.
Keep you both on your toes. You're pushing each other
Yeah,
towards
for sure.
excellence.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, and another key thing for any athlete, obviously you put in the work, the dedication and commitment, but also sacrifice.
Yeah.
What sort of sacrifices have you guys made?
Do you want to answer this first?
I feel like, time is probably the biggest thing. Being an athlete, training and putting in the hours, you've got to sacrifice a lot of stuff. You got to, especially for swimming, you got to get up early in the mornings. That's not hard to do, and you kind of have to be willing to do what is not normal. You kind of have to be willing to, see your friends, maybe sleep in, maybe, enjoy life a little bit more, you could say. But at the end of the day, working towards something it gives you fulfillment. And I think, well, I don't think too much about the sacrifice I give, because I do really enjoy it, but you definitely have to be some type of person to wake up early in the morning and sacrifice a lot of time to, improve.
Just going back to your last recent meet, was that your debut at the CAC Games?
Yes,
Any of you?
that was our first CAC Games, yeah.
Wow, incredible. And you did all that on your debut. It's spectacular.
Yeah, no, it was, as you say, it's kind of, these things tend to get easier, I think, when you have more experience. And I know last year for me at Commonwealth Games, that was kind of my both of our first really big international meets. I know there was a lot of lessons learned there and a lot of things that I tried to take with me to CAC Games, and I know I'll continue to take with me to other meets.
Wow. And your ages? You're
21.
21?
I'm 20.
And you're 20?
Yeah,
okay.
I'll be turning 22 in a couple weeks, though.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you've been swimming how long now? How long you been at this?
Oh, yeah.
A while.
Yeah, I think...
Probably.
Now, when did you start? When did you actually...
I think I was 7 when I joined Harvey, which is the swim club I trained with when I was here when I was growing up. But then we probably, started doing swim lessons and that type of stuff maybe when we were 5 or 6. But I would say I only probably started taking it really, not even really seriously, but, started like actually pursuing it as a sport maybe when I was 8 or 9, which is still, pretty young, but...
I feel like I was maybe a little bit later. I think I joined Harbor when I was maybe 8 probably.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
about right.
maybe started doing swim lessons no more than a couple years before.
Yeah. But,
Go ahead.
oh, I was just gonna say, Jack played a lot more other sports growing up.
I did.
I'm not as talented at other sports. I can't catch a ball, or I have no hand-eye coordination, so I'm kind of pretty limited to swimming. Whereas I feel like you kind of didn't really start focusing purely on swimming until a little bit older.
I did a lot of different sports. I did tennis, football. I love football.
Baseball.
I did, a bit of baseball, golf, whatever it was. I loved it all.
Golf, yeah. You still play golf?
I do, yeah. Actually, I played it yesterday.
Where did you play?
Mid-ocean.
Mid-ocean. What'd you shoot?
Oh, God. 60.
I want to see that score.
It's probably in the triple digits, but I enjoy it.
That's great. And football, you mentioned football. What position?
I played up front. When I did play, I played for my school team when I was in primary. Yeah, I still play a little bit when friends come over in the garden, just kicking a ball around, playing 2-touch and stuff like that. Yeah, I just really enjoy it.
Good stuff. So what inspired you both to start swimming, join the club and kick on?
I guess, it just kind of started swim lessons just from like a water safety perspective. Neither of our parents swam competitively, but, just being in Bermuda, they just, obviously super important to know how to swim, just, for safety purposes. And then sort of did some swim lessons and, we both really enjoyed it. And then, because we enjoyed it so much, our swim teacher at the time was, kind of recommended maybe trying out swim club to see if, we like that as well. And then, so then I joined when I was about 7, and then, the rest is history.
Yeah, I kind of was on a bit of I joined swim club on the same, I started doing swim lessons just because, water safety, like Emma said. But then I feel like my kind of main thing, I kind of joined the swim club because I saw Emma had a lot of success early on. She got, I think, really quick, really fast, and she enjoyed it. She was meeting a lot of friends, so, my parents brought up the idea about me doing the same thing, and I loved it from the start and never looked back, really.
And what are some of those early memories you have in the pool? Maybe some ups and downs, some success, maybe not, so good memories. Where that's all part of the journey. That inspires you to, hey, come back stronger.
Oh yeah, I definitely have some funny stories from my first criftas and stuff, which was, I remember being 11 years old and shaking behind the blocks, feeling I was going to throw up. I used to cry almost before every 100 fly because I got so nervous that I didn't know what to do. I couldn't handle my nerves at all. So, funny memories like that, but also just great memories of, my best friends still to this day are pretty much all from club growing up. So, we have so many great memories together doing funny stuff like running across the covers, which you're not supposed to do, but, doing stuff like that, or just blowing ring bubbles underwater, doing fun relays. And it's been, it's really cool to be able to look back on those type of things as well.
Yeah, I mean, same kind of thing. You meet, a lot of your really good friends in the swim pool. You spend a lot of time there, and the people you swim with really become your best friends. And all my friends now, most of my friends now, I met through swimming. So it's just my early memories of it. It's just I think I always had a lot of fun.
So at youth level, obviously you have the Carifta Swimming Championships. Tell us a bit more of your experiences competing, at that level, at youth level for Bermuda. You've certainly done a lot. I've written so many articles, and I just remember, and our swimmers do tend to do well, at all levels.
Yes.
So really, for me, for you, what you guys just achieved at the CAC Games, was sort of met expectations, as far as I'm concerned, because that's one sport where we really pack a powerful punch.
Yeah, we do for sure. I feel like youth level I maybe wasn't as good as I am now. Maybe you could say that. I remember I guess I did medal. Funny story. My first medal at Carifta, it was a bronze, but I actually got 4th in the race, but I think the guy who got 2nd ended up getting DQ'd, and I was quite far off the medal, being in 4th. But since he got DQ'd, I got bumped up to the medal.
I remember watching that.
Yeah, but apart from that, I wasn't a superstar. There were always people on the island who were faster than me, but I think it was good for me. Being able to race all those guys and being able to learn from them. I think it was important. It was good.
You were kind of a late bloomer into the sport.
I was a bit of a late bloomer.
But I guess as soon as you got to 16, 17, you kind of just took off.
Yeah. Improved a little bit more then.
Than me, yeah.
Is there any swimmer out there that inspired you internationally? You hear kids, and even adults, they have their favorites, footballer or cricketer or, whatever sport they follow, Formula One, NASCAR, et cetera, basketball. Is it anyone in particular that, caught your eye and, inspired you?
I mean, it sounds a bit silly, but I don't know if you know much about Ryan Lochte.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a goofball. He was obviously really fast, won numerous Olympic gold medals. But he was always known to be a bit of a goofball, a bit funny. And I remember watching interviews and stuff like that, and he would always make me laugh. And it kind of shows that, you don't always have to take it too seriously. You can always smile and you can always enjoy it. And that's what I feel like I kind of learned from him.
Yeah. I don't know, for me, I think we're both huge swimming fans. We definitely always watch, obviously the Olympics, but world championships, any kind of level of the sport. So there's so many people I could choose, who I look up to. I mean, I probably the person that I follow the closest, who's now retired, is Rebecca Adlington. She swam for the UK, and she does a lot of commentating work now, and just hearing her perspective on the sport is really interesting and really inspiring to me. So I think that's someone that I've kind of always looked up to, even through, her retirement and now her, different role in the sport.
And Jack mentioned earlier, during your early development years, you're building towards something, a bigger goal, bigger ambitions. What is it? What is that goal? What do you both hope to achieve one day?
Obviously the obvious goal is the Olympics. It's the biggest meet in our sport by, a landslide. It's the meet that everyone wants to go to when they're younger. Everyone dreams of going to the Olympics. Everyone watches the Olympics. So it's no different for me, and I'm sure it's no different for Emma as well. But it's the pinnacle. So that's the ultimate goal, I guess.
Yeah, for sure. And as Jack said, it's the pinnacle 100%. But sometimes, it's also, I know for me, kind of it's a big, and it's obviously a huge ambition and something that's obviously incredibly important to both of us. But I think something that's really helped me, especially over the last year, is also enjoying kind of the goals along the way, CAC games, World Championships, Pan Am games, and kind of instead of viewing it as this kind of all or nothing Olympics or nothing else, trying to enjoy the small or big victories at all of those kind of step up competitions on the way there. So yeah, I would agree though, the Olympics is at the end of the day our childhood dream, so that would be amazing.
Brilliant. And of course you've brought your medals
yes.
with you. Can you just pick them up and show them to our audience?
So this is
the bronze.
The bronze from the 50 fly.
Looks very heavy.
Yeah, do you want And this is the silver. This is the silver from the 50 back on the first night.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're there on the podium, and they play, the anthem comes on, and the flag is raising.
Yeah.
And what's going through your mind at that moment?
I don't think you can quite put into words how much it means to you. I know, I remember saying to Jack after I won the first medal, I was obviously elated and I was so excited, but it just, after standing on that podium, I was just, I was so ecstatic, and I was so kind of, overwhelmed with the support from the rest of Bermuda, from the rest of the Bermudian athletes who are at CAC games, the BOA, but also, people from the public back here, and it kind of just really motivated me to try and bring home another one. But yeah, I can't even put into words how special it is to be standing on an international podium and see your flag being raised. It's just, it's what you train for. So it's amazing to kind of have that experience sort of wrap up, the journey to that particular meet.
Has it inspired you even more?
Oh, 100%. It's just, I think it just gives you so much confidence in it to kind of walk away with something tangible that you can kind of look at, in the good and bad times is so invaluable. So I think that it definitely is going to spur me on. And I know that, in those tough practices and those really hard training cycles that you're going through when you're on week 3 or 4 of, your body feeling exhausted, I know that kind of being able to look back at those memories is going to really help me, this is all worth it,
And going back to the Olympics, as Jack said, that's the pinnacle, that's the goal that you're striving for.
Yeah.
Based on where you are on this journey, how do you feel about this chances? The trajectory you're on, you think you're on target? Yeah,
I think, so kind of the qualification processes from Bermuda is that there's set times that qualification times we have to hit. And then beyond that, you also have to be selected by the BOA to go. But definitely kind of the first and biggest hurdle is kind of hitting those qualification times. And I feel, like I know for me, and I'm sure you feel the same way, that we're in a good spot and a good trajectory to hit those times. And, the nice thing about swimming is that there's a plethora of opportunities to qualify. It's unlike some other sports like sailing, for example, where you've got maybe 2 competitions or 3 competitions to kind of earn that spot. It's really nice that in our particular sport, there's a lot of opportunities to hit that qualification time. And, you won't really know if you're going or not until the end of June next year. So it's kind of just working as hard as you can to see how fast you can go up until that point.
So that's the deadline next June?
Next June, so
wow.
quite a while away, 11 months away. And then, so yeah, you have pretty much up until then to hit those qualification times. And then after that, the BOA will select, if anyone makes the times, select the people, hopefully, that end up going.
Now, obviously, you both compete in various disciplines, but what is your specialty events?
For me, it's definitely the backstroke, the 100 and 200 backstroke. Those are the ones I'm the fastest in, most competitive. Those are the ones I place highest at CAC games. So those two are definitely my focus.
I think for me, I've taken a slightly different approach where I'm trying to focus more on. So I feel like Jack's focusing more on one particular stroke, but across different distances. Whereas for me, I'm kind of mostly focusing on 100s, but different strokes. So 100 free, 100 fly, and 100 back. So I pretty much exclusively trained for those, and of course the 50s as well. But as I mentioned, those are not always at every competition. So yeah, kind of all the sprint events I'm kind of training for right now, and then, you know, if I'm close in one particular event or I feel really strongly about one particular event in the next 6 months, then I might kind of pivot towards focusing more exclusively on that event.
You know what I find interesting in various other sports?
Yeah.
You go to the venue, and each venue is different, obviously.
Yeah.
Different characteristics.
Yeah.
If it's cricket, it's a different pitch.
Yeah.
Or football, maybe a wider pitch or a narrower pitch sometimes. Swimming, all pools pretty much look the same.
Yeah.
But is it like that? What is it like when you get there? Is it anything that's actually different? I mean, they're all got water and lanes, but is it something different about all of it? Obviously, the infrastructure, but the actual pool itself.
Yeah, it's funny you mention that, because I think it's a kind of tendency among swimmers to go to the pool and be like, oh, this pool feels faster, oh, this pool is, the blocks are a little different, and that kind of stuff. Definitely a lot of, you know, including myself, you know, read into that type of stuff a lot, like to analyze all the situations. But as you say, you know, pool is a pool. So I think it's sometimes best to, you know, have the attitude of just, you know, this is no different to how I train. This is no different to, you know, what I'm used to competing in, and kind of just, and not letting, if there's minor differences, kind of affect you. I don't know if you agree.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice. That's definitely a good part of our sport, is you kind of know what you're getting into. It's always going to be, the pool's, you know, always going to be 50 meters long. There's probably going to be 8 lanes. And yeah, I think it's something that it's good about our sport for sure.
Yeah. And who are some of those that have, you know, been in your corner supporting you behind the scenes? Obviously you have coaches, or you may have nutritionists.
Yeah.
Some athletes now have psychologists.
Yeah.
You know, have you know, who's some of those that you have in your camp?
Yeah.
I mean, we both have, you know, I think we both have great coaches here in Bermuda. We both, the national coach, Ben Smith, he was with us at CAC games. He's great. Also Shona Palmer, who's the coach at Harvey. She coached us for many years, and she still coaches, you know, to this day. And then we both have our coaches at Penn State. My coach, she's called Mia. She's great. You know, she's really helped me jump, you know, the last couple months to the level I am, prepare me for CAC games, and continue to work towards Worlds. And I think, you know, without those people, you know, it would be a lot harder to achieve the things that we've done. So big shout out to them.
Yeah, for sure, 100% coaches. But I think also be remiss not to mention our parents, who have supported us so much, you know, through everything. You know, they're definitely big fans of the sport now. They'll be coming out with us to Japan, which is super exciting. Yeah. And yeah, they were there in El Salvador. So yeah, they definitely have both influenced our journey so much, and yeah, they're always there to support us. So it's been really amazing to kind of do this as a family.
So you're both studying at Penn State University?
Yep.
Yeah?
Yeah.
We are.
Oh.
We see a lot of each other.
Oh.
We do, yeah.
It's a good thing though. It's a good thing.
I kind of followed her there. She was there first, and then I joined her.
Yeah, no, we're neighbors as well, so we literally see each other all the time. Yeah. But which is really nice. You know, it's great to kind of have that sense of familiarity, and I know I love having Jack there, and I hope he would say the same about me.
So you both compete for the school as well?
Yes, yeah.
So how's that going?
Yeah, it's been great. You know, so the college system is a little bit different. So you swim, instead of 50-meter pool, you swim in a 25-yard pool. So obviously the pool is a little bit shorter because of the conversion from yards to meters. So, you know, it's kind of different skill set that is needed. It's a lot, you know, you'll see probably a lot bigger guys, you know, a lot more focus on like underwaters and power and strength, which I really enjoy. It's kind of nice to be able to have those two different sides of the sport. You do pretty much half the year as your NCAA season, and then you move into international season, which will be long course, which is, you know, all meets like CAC games, Worlds, the Olympics, that type of thing. But yeah, I mean, I love it out there. I just finished up my senior year, and I'll be there. I'll stay there to train through to next year. But yeah, I've had an amazing experience. It's been awesome having Jack on the team. Met so many amazing people, and just, yeah, I mean, the college experience, the NCAA experience is just, it's just amazing. And I know to any young Bermudians out there, I would 100% recommend looking into it, because to be honest, it kind of saved my career and kind of gave me this new life into the sport, and I'm just so thankful for that.
Yeah, that's a high standard, NCAA.
Yeah. Like Emma said, like the pool is shorter. It's a 25-yard. It kind of suits more people who are big and strong and powerful. For me, it's not my skill set exactly. I'm definitely better in the long course meters pool, but like Emma said, the college experience is incredible. You know, you meet a lot of good friends in your college team. You hang out with them a lot. So it's awesome. I have a lot of fun. We enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's the rivalry, the competition, fierce.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And you get to those meets.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like you see in other college sports.
Oh, yeah, 100%. And it's also really cool to kind of be a part of that, broad athletic experience. Like, I know I wasn't a huge, college football fan before. I never really watched NFL or kind of American football at all. But, coming to the U.S., it's just... Penn State has I tell this to everyone because I just love Penn State so much, but it has the, third largest stadium in the world. And just the fan base across all athletics is, it's amazing. So just sort of to be a part of that is, it's unlike anything else, that I've ever been a part of before. And I know I'll look back so fondly on all my memories at that school.
What are some of the most memorable?
Yeah, I think...
Cherished memories.
I think just going to, so we have a conference meet, which is sort of, other than NCAA, is our biggest meet of the year, and that's kind of where you see the most intense rivalries, and that's kind of where you see the biggest team atmosphere, I guess you could say. So, my memories from Big Tens this year, competing in the relays, and we ultimately came third or fourth, I believe. It was fourth in one of the relays, and that was just so exciting for us. We were able to score a lot of points for our team. So I think that was, for a swimming memory, that was probably my favorite memory, and then for just an all-round college experience memory, just going to the football games, having 110,000 people there. We have this thing called the whiteout every year, so everyone wears white, and that's kind of where we go up against our most intense rival, so either be Ohio State or Michigan. And beating Michigan my freshman year was, if you look up on YouTube, whiteout game Michigan, it's just like the most unbelievable atmosphere ever. People are singing, people are, it's just amazing. So I think that would probably be my favorite memory from Penn State overall.
It's just amazing being in a arena that's Bermuda's entire population.
I tell that
can fit into.
No, yeah, I tell that to people all the time when I'm standing with my friends in the stadium, saying I'm looking at double the population of Bermuda in this stadium right now. It's insane, but yeah, it's an amazing experience.
Intimidating.
Yeah, I know, it's a little. I definitely don't envy the football players who are on the pitch who have to play in front of that for sure.
And what about you, Jack? I know your journey continues.
Yeah, it does. I still have 2 more years left at Penn State, so I look forward to making more memories, more swimming memories outside the pool. But I think for me so far, I've just met so many close friends at school. We do a lot together. I live with my friends, and it's awesome being able to do stuff together, play golf together. We swim together every day, and doing stuff like that, I think will stay with me for a long time.
So was it a seamless transition, coming from high school here, going to college over there, competing at that level, competing from high school to college level? Was that a big jump?
I feel like it was a pretty big jump. I went to school, here all 13 years. I graduated from Warwick, and then I went down to school for the summer. So it was kind of soon after I graduated, and it was a big transition. America is very different from Bermuda. Bermuda is very small. We all know each other. We all, it's small, and going to somewhere like Penn State, a lot of people. There's, it was a big transition, but I think it was a good one, and one that's, if I had the opportunity to do it again, I would take it.
Now, you touched on it earlier, World Championships in Japan.
Yes.
Wow, you're racking up some frequent flyer miles there.
Yeah. No, really excited. It'll be our first World Championships for both of us. which is really exciting. And, that level of competition, although being a CAC Games and Commonwealth Games, obviously it's an incredibly high level competition. World Championships is obviously a step up from that even. So I'm just, so excited to go to Japan and, obviously compete. But also there's so much, you can learn from watching the top swimmers in the world. So I'm just also really excited from that aspect too. There's definitely going to be some tight battles across the whole competition. So I'm really excited overall.
So you both really haven't had a lot of time to, reflect, celebrate, your achievements down in El Salvador. You come back here and you kind of just continue on. Everyone else is relaxing. Trying to figure out why is it raining so much. Trying to make the most of what summer we have, right?
Yes, exactly.
It's wet summer we're having here this year,
it's
and
crazy.
spring.
Yeah.
But that's another story. But everyone else is doing the summer thing. But you guys have got to stay focused because you've got this major meet coming up, this championships and your debut.
Yes.
And also Pan Am Games coming up again later in the year, and you're going to also be involved in that?
Yes.
Wow.
So I think, definitely it's a very busy competition schedule this summer. But, this is why we do the sport. And I kind of think of these competitions as like the reward for all the hard training. And, obviously you're going out there to compete and absolutely put your best foot forward from Bermuda. But overall, it's such an enjoyable experience that it kind of makes staying focused pretty easy, just because it's such a huge meet and it's such an amazing opportunity that kind of drives you to stay to your training, keep everything in line and just sort of keep pushing forward.
Yeah. Does it do you ever have a moment sometimes you may not be 100% into it, and you might get a thought in your mind, you're thinking of your friends or your family, and you got to make this sacrifice. You get those days?
Oh yeah, for sure. And I think, it's just really important to recognize that there are some times of the year where you need to absolutely, prioritize those aspects of your life. Your academics, your social life, your family life is so important. And I think, we're starting to see in the sport quite a lot of burnout now. We'll see it, we've seen it from Adam Peaty and Caleb Dressel, some of the top performers in the sport for a really long time. And a lot of, their kind of burnout can be, in their words, attributed just to going 7-8 years where your only focus in life is swimming. And so I know something that I've definitely learned is taking a step back and knowing when it's okay to prioritize other things in life and to balance other things in life. And I think for me that makes it a lot easier to kind of, when it's time to grind, just putting your head down and kind of just putting in the work. And I know for right now, that's kind of how I feel right now, is that because I feel pretty mentally refreshed and I'm so excited. Of course, there are some mornings which the alarm goes off and you're thinking, would really like to get an extra hour in bed. It's a lot easier when you feel like you have that balance, throughout the year, for sure.
Now, these two upcoming meets, do they present an opportunity to hit the Olympic times?
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
They're both World Aquatics approved, which is the requirement for hitting Olympic qualification standards. So both of these events will be opportunities to qualify. Also, I just want to go back to the meet. I've always wondered this, because covering you guys events, we do the preliminaries, the qualifiers are in the morning, but then the finals are in the evening. So you just have so much time in between. How do you deal with that mentally? Because I know me, for example, if I'm qualified for something, I want to get it over with. And I want to, capitalize on that momentum. I think is it kind of tricky, like, because you may be in one frame of mind, or, you're feeling good, good momentum going, and then you got to stop. And then there's this delay, and then you got to pick it back up. How do you cope with that?
I mean, it's something that in our sport is really common. Prelims in the morning, finals at night is kind of always, it's what CRIF does, like it's what we do growing up. And I think it's good because you get a chance to really think about what you did and how you can improve on it. You can watch your races back, you can look at it, and it can be beneficial for if you maybe didn't have a great morning swim and you have another opportunity at the night. If you are going in maybe seated 7th or 8th and you're looking to jump up a couple of spots, you can really look, take a hard look at what you did and how you can improve, speak to your coaches, have a nap. That's usually what I do. And then go back and kind of put your best foot forward for the finals.
So it works to your advantage.
Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't.
Sometimes when you have the momentum, coming out of the morning swimming, you got a best time in the morning, you're feeling really good. I definitely can relate to the feeling of I'm feeling great, let's just do it now. But as Jack mentioned, it's kind of pretty standard in our sport, prelims in the morning, finals at night. So I guess it's just something that you kind of get used to over time, and being able to, what a lot of people say is back it up at night is a huge skill. You'll quite often see some people who are really good in the morning, and then when the pressure kind of builds a little bit for the final session, tend not to do as well. And then vice versa, you see some people who can't really get up in the morning and kind of might just squeeze into finals, but then at night they're so ready to go and so kind of G'd up that they can put out a great performance. So that's kind of when you start to see people winning out of the outside lanes, because they were a slower qualifier in the morning, but then they come out at night and they just can blow the competition away.
I was, I know me, my adrenaline be going, and I just want to build on that momentum, carry it through. I wouldn't be a big fan of having to pause
and come back.
But I also wonder, and you just touched on it a bit, you get some of in the qualifiers, how much can you really read into those times? Like, do you think sometimes people do just enough to get through? Because you see that in other sports, they don't give you everything, they don't throw it all out.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of playing a bit of possum there, or strategy going on. Or
100%.
Yeah, for sure. For example, in my 200 back at CAC games, there was a guy who was going in. He was the top seed, so before the meet started, and then in finals he was going in 5th. And based off of the time he went and watching him swim, you could tell he was saving some. He was leaving some in the tank for finals, and you gotta just put your best foot forward. You gotta try your best in finals. Try not to let that thought of someone's going to be in the outside lane coming for me, coming hot, but you kind of have to just stay focused.
Yeah.
So to help you stay focused, you come to the pool finals night, the adrenaline's going, what do you do? Like, do you have some music going on, or, you have a little routine? What do you do to keep yourself, dialed in?
Oh yeah. I mean, our coaches back at school love this because they, something they've really emphasized is you have to stay, close to your routine, because if you have that kind of consistent, physiologically for your body, just to, you're always used to this certain routine, you can perform with this specific warm-up and this specific, preparation, then that's really helpful. But also psychologically, it's really easy, I know for me at least, whether it's a great swim in the morning or a terrible swim in the morning, you kind of let the wheels run. If you had a great swim in the morning, it's really easy to start being like, oh, I'm going to do this and this and this, and I'm going to win gold, and I'm going to, it's really easy to kind of let those thoughts sort of take you away from the present. So having that, pretty established routine is so important. I know for me, I always get in the pool pretty much exactly an hour before I race. Before that, I'll do some land-based stretches, some land-based warm-ups, get out, get ready, get into my race suit probably about 20-25 minutes before. And then I normally just like to, do, sit, chill, relax, listen to some music sometimes. But for me, it's just important, to keep my mind calm and not to get too amped up.
You, Jack?
Yeah, I'm pretty similar. My routine is arrive at the pool usually like a little longer, hour 15 before I know I'm gonna race. I'll probably hop in for warm up, do my standard warm up, and then dry off, kind of relax for a little bit, get my race suit on, and then do some light activation, jumping around, doing some push-ups, maybe some jumps, and then before the race, just taking some deep breaths, getting focused, and then just kind of visualizing what you want to do and how you want to execute it.
Right. Yeah. So we know a bit more about the athlete,
yes.
Jack, and Emma, the athlete. What about a bit of your background, your personal life? What are things you like to do outside of sport? Any other activities you in, or arts or anything?
Yeah.
Fishing?
I was actually gonna say that. I mean, I love to fish. I love going out on the water. I mean, being a swimmer naturally, you love the water. You love being around the water. So I think that's no different for me. I like going to Admiralty House. I like going off the cliffs there. That's a lot of fun. Just hang out with friends, I think it's a good time.
There's cliffs.
Yeah.
We've heard a lot about those cliffs. And I'm smiling because I know all about those cliffs.
Yeah.
I grew up in that parish, in this parish, and certainly had my experiences over there. Yeah. I don't think I've actually dove proper. I think I just did the jump. Feet first.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we used to have a lot of fun until someone claimed they saw a nurse shark in the cave,
Oh.
and that was it. That was it.
Never again.
I don't think I went over anymore.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But that was a time, at that time, Jaws had just come out.
Oh.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
You were scared,
that
yeah,
freaked
yeah.
everybody out.
Yeah.
So, you could understand. But, so you like fishing, and you like fishing as well?
Yeah, I kind of like everything involving the ocean. Me and Jack try and go lionfish spearing quite a lot, which is really fun. Just kind of anything out on the boat, out in the water. I love nature, so when I'm back at school, obviously there's no ocean nearby, so just hiking, kind of being outside. When we were growing up, we did a lot of mountain biking, that type of thing. So yeah, kind of any outdoorsy activity, but also, as Jack mentioned, love hanging out with friends, love being around people. I can't say that I'm great at the arts, but it's always kind of relaxing afternoon to just do some painting and stuff like that. But I definitely am not talented at all at it. But I think it's just really important to find that downtime as well for yourself in between training.
Interesting you mentioned about lionfish. I remember reading articles years in advance before they really came here.
Yeah.
How they were getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
And the last I knew, they were like 200 fathoms out.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, that's still a distance off.
Yeah.
And then one day I was swimming down John Smith's Bay.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this little boiler, which is like about 50 meters offshore, if that.
Yeah.
And someone was out there spearfishing these lionfish.
Yeah.
And that's when I realized these things are right inshore.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And I like to go down on the South Shore side during the spring or late winter time, spring, and watch the humpback whales.
Oh, yeah.
And there's this gentleman who comes down and he jumps over and he catches them right below me.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
And I'm like, wow.
Yeah.
They tell me they taste good.
Yeah. We've cooked up a few.
Yeah. You gotta try it. You gotta try it.
Yeah. They are very fiddly to try and.
Yeah, if you're cutting them, you gotta be careful for the spines. But if you get the fillet nice, you'll enjoy it. I'm telling you.
Off the menu for me. Off the menu for me. And too much, but it's hard enough skinning a turkey.
Yes.
Yeah.
I ain't got enough energy to work with a lionfish. And no, definitely not. But glory to those. I applaud those who have the patience and skills. But that's interesting, spearfishing. I have fond memories in my childhood. My uncle used to go out, take me out spearfishing, and it was fun.
Yeah.
Again, keeping my eye out because I'm thinking.
Yeah.
And thanks to Peter Benchley and Steven Spielberg, but that's awesome. That's awesome. And yes, you are a swimmer, so you have that natural connection with the water. So do I, coming from a family steeped in fishing tradition, and so I'm connected.
Yeah.
And Aquarius, I'm Aquarius.
Yes.
I'm the water bearer.
Yes, exactly.
So I don't have no problem with the rain.
Yes. No problem with the rain, just the sharks.
Has that impacted your training? You get out and jog, or or you do mostly your workout indoors?
I think the only thing that kind of affects it is like thunder and lightning. So like this morning we were thundered out, so couldn't get in the pool, which is a bit unfortunate. But you just kind of got to roll with those and readjust your schedule when you can. I know in El Salvador that was a big problem. There was one night in particular where we were delayed almost like 2.5 hours just because of the thunder and stuff. But that's just a part of the sport when you're competing outdoors, and you kind of just the people that tend to do best in those situations are just ones that are adaptable and they can kind of roll with the punches. So it's a really good skill to be able to learn, to take with you to other competitions, even if it's not, outdoors. Yeah.
What sort of expectations you have going forward, going to Japan and beyond?
I mean,
for the rest of the year, I should say.
Yeah.
Let's limit it to the rest of the year for now. What expectations these upcoming meets you have the next two?
I mean, I think the biggest thing is just keep, trying to improve, trying to get closer, improve your times, get closer to what you want to achieve, and the little improvements and the little time drops, they add up. They get you closer to medals, national records, stuff like that, Olympic qualifiers, stuff like that, and just being able to continuously improve, I think, is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And obviously work towards that goal, like you said, to get closer to that Olympic mark.
Yeah.
What would it mean to both of you to get that opportunity?
It would be amazing. I think it would be something that, I mean, like I said, it's something you dream of your whole life. So if that would be the case and we would get to go to the Olympics, it's something you never forget. It would be awesome.
And is there any other sport you enjoy? Not participating, but you know what? When you turn on the telly, is there any other sport you enjoy watching? Golf, right? You mentioned golf. I'm sure you're watching golf.
Yeah, I watched a couple of different sports. I watch the Premier League. I big watching the Formula One.
Yeah, big Formula.
So yeah, I watch anything really that's on. I find it interesting.
Yeah.
So
who's your team? Premier League.
I like Liverpool. I do like Liverpool, but I'm not a diehard Liverpool fan.
Yeah.
I
I like watching a lot of tennis. Been watching Wimbledon this week, which has been fun. Kind of all Olympic sports. Love watching athletics. You know, I'm definitely probably not as into football or F1 as you are, but you know, kind of any sport. If it's on, we'll always watch it. Especially if, you know, big international events, we'll always have those on.
Yeah. Just came Wimbledon, just concluded not long ago.
Yes, I think they're.
You enjoy that?
No, it's been really great watching that. July is always a good month, also with the tour on and stuff. And then there's normally some big, you know, international competitions in whatever sport it is. So being able to watch that, it's always really fun in the summer months. Yeah.
Good stuff. So you're all ready to go?
Yes.
We are,
yes.
All right. Wow. I guess we've covered a lot of ground here. We've certainly covered a lot of ground, and it's just been such an honor and a pleasure to have the both of you on board joining us today. And I just want to thank you.
Thank you so much.
And wish you all the best.
Thank you.
In your future endeavors, and we'll definitely be looking out, keep an eye on your progress.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate having us here.
Yeah, and hopefully we can see you again, you know, in the future.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes,
with some more exciting news and lots of fun and joy to share.
Yes, hopefully. Thank you so much.
All right. Well, it's been a blast. Well, folks, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today. But before we go, I just want to send a big thank you to our sponsors, Lindos, as well as our co-producers, Crimson Multimedia. And last but not least, you, the viewing public. And look forward to seeing you again here real soon, right here on Up Close with yours truly, Colin Thompson.